In this part, now we're going to be working with multiplication of complex numbers. So let's take a look at our first example. We have 2i multiplying to -1 and the positive 4i. So basically you're distributing the 2i to everything that's inside the second set. So let's work it out. 2i times -1 will be negative 2i. 2i times positive 4i will be positive 8i squared. The reason I got I squared was because I times I. Here, I'm not finished. We need to simplify the I squared, because when we're working with multiplication and division, we need to simplify where your answers are in standard form. Now, connecting to the previous example for addition and subtracting, standard form is usually where we have the real number first and imaginary number second. Now, if you closely look at the previous section, the previous example, you notice that all of them just had a single I. This one has a single I. This one is not. So what we can do is write the equivalent of I squared, which is -1. So I'm going to rewrite the whole thing here. So it's going to be -2i plus 8. For I squared, I'm going to write in -1. So parenthesis -1 because it's multiplying. So here, positive 8 times -1 will be -8. And then bring down the 2i. And just like how I mentioned before, you need to write your answer in standard form. So you write the real number first. So -8. And then you're going to write in your imaginary number, complex number second. So it's -8 minus 2i. This is your final answer. So when dealing with multiplication, we're not going to end with -2i plus 8i squared. You have to simplify the I squared and write out the equivalent form, which is -1. So here I just wrote plus 8 times -1, as you can see where I wrote -1 in parentheses. Then you can continue, so positive 8 times -1 is -8. After that, I just write in standard form, real number first, and then complex number second. In this example, we have 10i times -6 minus 3i. So I'm going to distribute my 10i to the -6 and minus 3i. 10i times -6 will be -60i. 10i times -3i will be -30i squared. And then I need to simplify my I squared. So I'm going to rewrite the whole thing. So -60i minus 30. The value of I squared is -1, so put it right here. And notice how I put it in parentheses, so I'm multiplying to the -30. So this will stay the same, -60i. But over here, -30 times -1 will become positive 30. And then I'm almost done. I need to write my answer in standard form. So my real number is first, so positive 30. Then my complex number, so my -60i. And that is our final answer. And that's all you have to do. As we continue with multiplication, here we have two binomial terms. The first one is -4 minus 7i, and it's multiplying to the second binomial term, which is -2 minus 6i. So here we're going to be using the FOIL method when we're multiplying two binomial terms. So my first set of FOILing, I'm going to use the -4, multiply to the -2 and the -6i. So -4 times -2 is positive 8. -4 times -6i will be positive 24i. And then my second set of FOILing, I'm going to work with the -7i multiplied to the -2 and the -6i. negative 7i times negative 2 will be positive 14i. Negative 7i times negative 6i will be positive 42i squared. Alright, from there, I'm going to combine like terms first. So I'm going to combine 24i with positive 14i. So I'm still going to have my 8, positive 24i plus 14i will be positive 38i, and I bring down positive 42i squared. And I need to simplify the I squared just like how we did before. So I'm going to rewrite the whole thing, but it's going to be 8 plus 38i plus 42, and in the place of I squared will be negative 1. From there, the only thing I can do is positive 42 times negative 1. So everything will stay the same. So the 8 plus 38i, now here, this will become positive 42 times negative 1, negative 42. Then I'm going to combine my numbers, my real numbers. So 8 minus 42 is going to be negative 34. And then bring down my imaginary complex number, so positive 38i. And my answer is in standard form because my real number is first and my complex imaginary number is second. So I'm pretty much done here. So this one, when you FOIL, combine the i's together and then simplify the I squared, change it to negative 1. Here I multiplied positive 42 with negative 1, and I got negative 42. I combined that with my other real number, which is 8, and that's how I got negative 34. And I basically brought down my 38i into my final answer. Alright, so what we have in the first binomial term is negative 10 plus 5i. It's multiplying to the second binomial, which is negative 7 plus 10i. So my first set of FOIL, I'm working with negative 10 multiplying to the negative 7 and the positive 10i. Negative 10 times negative 7 will be positive 70. Negative 10 times positive 10i will be negative 100i. Next, I'm going to work with the other half of FOIL. I'm working with the 5i, multiplying to the negative 7 and to the positive 10i. 5i times negative 7 will be negative 35i. 5i times positive 10i will be positive 50i squared. After I finish FOILing, I'm going to combine my i's together, combine like terms. So I still have the 70 in the front. Negative 100i minus 35i will be negative 135i. Bring down my plus 50i squared. And then I need to simplify the I squared. So everything else will stay the same. 70 minus 135i plus 50. And I'm going to replace I squared with negative 1. After that, you can simplify. Positive 50 times negative 1 will be negative 50. Bring down everything else. After that, I'm going to combine my real numbers together. So 70 minus 50, that's going to be positive 20. Bring down my I, so negative 135i. Since this is in standard form, real number first and then imaginary complex number second, this will be my final answer.